Something Cindy mentioned in her interview and something that literally keeps sticking in my mind is the community that she has of prop stylists, like 30 something plus people, I think she mentioned, all in a group chat sharing everything about their assistants they're not using, props they're not using, who has what, who's near what. In a world where competition is everywhere, it's so nice to just see people coming together and wanting to help each other, and just true community can exist. And one thing I found about this community of health, wellness, bettering yourself is that people are just nice. The sense of community is so real. It is important to be mindful about who's in your community, who you connect with on your passions or things you care about. These can be people you admire, your peers, or strangers that become friends, or all the above. I could easily tie this back into being an entrepreneur, and I know that this community helped me build Combined by Alanna. So the ultimate lesson is find your community, because you never know what will come with it. Because my community was the catalyst in starting Combined by Alanna. If you're craving community, I have a combined community that's awesome over on Patreon, where we're sharing all things gut health and wellness. We also have virtual monthly meetups. Head over to Patreon and check it out. And hit that subscribe button for more from your gut health bestie. I'm releasing this bonus episode so you can see what kind of extra juicy content you'll find over on Patreon. Welcome to the bonus episode. We are still here with Gil Jacobs. You guys asked a bunch of questions on Instagram, and that's because I prompted you to. So I'm going to now ask Gil those questions that you were dying to know. To start, how long do you recommend waiting between meals for digestion?
It depends what the food is. See, if somebody's eating fruit in the morning, fruit takes about an hour to get out of the stomach. It's all about the stomach.
What about 20 minutes?
Nah, I don't fall for that. That's if you're like 8 years old and fabulous. We always want to extend the length of what you read in the books, because if you don't, the food's going to crash. And the worst thing you can do to your system is put food in the stomach when the stomach's not empty. So we work on an hour, but understand what that means. What that means is an hour is the minimum you wait. It does not mean the minute you're done with an apple, an hour later you eat. Mm-hmm. What we want to hear is that it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after the morning fruit, and I'm still not hungry. Yeah. So when we give the following numbers, we're giving the minimum. If you're not hungry an hour after fruit, don't eat. The body doesn't want to be fed when it doesn't need. Very important. So fruit, it's an hour. A raw salad with avocados, they'll tell you in the books an hour and a half, too close. Yeah. 3.
Fit for life.
Yeah, too close.
Says this.
Yeah, 3, 3.5, 4. Cooked grains, potatoes, grains, not mixed with proteins. They'll tell you 3. Push it to 4.5. Mm-hmm. Proteins, which should be the last meal of the day, should not be eaten after in a day anyway, so it's a moot point. It's too slow. If it is a question, 5 hours. A badly combined meal, a starch protein meal, when you cheat, you cannot eat after it the same day, in my opinion, no matter how long you wait. So if you're at a luncheon and you have to eat sushi, you fast the rest of the day. Because a bad combination is a minimum of 10 hours locked in the gut. There is no transit time. Wait till tomorrow.
Got it. Okay, great question.
That's actually, it's actually a good question. Inflammation has been misunderstood now. It's having its day, and people think it's a specific thing apart from sickness and toxicity. It is toxicity. Inflammation is the result of all we're talking about. This entire 4-hour shtick is the answer to your question.
Yes.
When matter sits in the cells, you're inflamed. See, the implication of the question is, all right, now you've talked about matter in the body, but what about inflammation? Like it's something separate? It isn't. You're inflamed when you hold matter. If I pour battery acid on your hand gets burned and pussy and skeevy. That's what's going on in your cells from the retained matter. So the entire shtick, everything we've done, the purpose of it is to lessen and remove inflammation. This takes place by the removal of matter from cells. And so people understand what inflammation is. It's the retention of matter in the body. giving the body burned, ulcerated tissue, just like pouring acid on your hand.
Yeah.
So it's actually worth saying so people understand what that means.
Perfect. How dermatitis is tied to the gut and if colonics can fix it.
Oh, 100%. I told that story. Yeah,
Right.
yeast fungus. Whenever you get any breakouts, red, itchy, scaly, skeeve, that's a buildup of yeast and fungus in the cells. So the diet will fix it. Now, when we do a yeast fungus diet, this is interesting, and I get hammered when I say this. A lot of my friends hammer the shit out of me. For practical purposes, for a normal person, we encourage someone not to be 100% vegan. And the reason is, if you're taking a person who's middle of the road to tell them they should be vegan and then tell them they can't eat grains and beans, you're just not leaving them enough. And to be honest, if you want to heal dermatitis, you get rid of the grains, you get rid of the beans, you get rid of the animal protein, not the animal fat. So this is what a diet is. Not animal fat, dairy protein. I'm trying to say cheese, milk. The diet for someone in this situation, you're healing dermatitis, veggie juice in the morning, not all green, but very green. Lunch is a salad, avocados, or a salad. Salad, avocados. Lean on that. Dinner is a salad, fish, chicken, lamb, veal, free-range, grass-fed, broccoli, green beans, Brussels sprouts, cooked greens. There's no grain, there's no bean, there's no potato, there's no yam. Eliminate all that. There's so much produce in the body, the protein at the end won't hurt you. So juice in the morning, salad, avocado, salad, cooked starchless greens, animal protein. Do that for 2 weeks. Do a few treatments. You'll be clear as a bell.
Amazing. If they can't, by the way, what if they can't? They don't live in New York.
That's a downer.
Okay.
What I recommend, my friend Natalia Rose sells a
That's
thing
great.
that you can hook up to your sink, and it comes tubing to go on the sink in the bathroom. It's fabulous. It's called, I have it written down. I forget. The Enlightener. She calls it the Enlightener. It's a fabulous device, but I wouldn't do that. If I were healthy and strong and knew I was okay, you do that. But if you have ailments, be careful. That you want to find a place that does colonics. But if you're fit and fine,
Gravity colonics.
yeah, Gravity Colonics. I highly recommend you buy this thing. It's fantastic. You don't need to build anything. It comes with a one-size-fits-all nozzle that you put on your bathroom sink. It's got the tubing and the thing that goes in the butt. You put the other tube in the toilet. I've had 3 or 4 clients who travel to teach dance and whatnot. They brought this on the road and they're doing great. If you wanted to, she offers a discount. She's a sweetheart. Just put my name in, G. Jacobs, with Enlightener, and you get $100 off.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
works.
she sold it.
Yeah, it works. But don't do it if you're really new and have issues. Because if that's the case, go to a practitioner. You can find one. Ask for Gravity Colonics and make sure they use stainless steel instrument.
Yes. I love that. That's
a
awesome.
good-
That's awesome. I'm calling this the juice behind the juice. Somebody asked, why do we juice? When do we juice? And what do we juice?
Okay, well, juice to me, at the beginning, it's the first thing you do during the day that's nutritive. Meaning if you're doing water and lemon, that doesn't count. But the first thing you put in of real value is your juice. Once you eat solid food, the recommendation when you're new is not to juice till tomorrow. This way it doesn't ferment. It's a safe way to play. You don't topple juice on top of grains and shit and then you blow up. It discourages people. So you wake up, you do the intermittent fast. As we said, maybe it's only 10 minutes. Maybe it's an hour. The minute you need something, that's when you juice. If you're a beginner juicer and you don't have blood sugar issues, you don't have yeast issues, you're a healthy asymptomatic person, you know, the greens are great, but they'd be a pain in the ass. To get people in, do the things that are easy if this seems like a lot of work. The best juicer to buy is a Breville, Breville. Get the centrifugal, you don't need the press, all that stuff is overdone. Carrot, pick from these. Carrot, celery, highly water-containing apples like Fuji, Granny Smith, Pink Lady. Carrot, celery, the apples for taste. Fennel, beets, cucumber. If you just do a mix of those, you're good to go. The apple is just one. The others you throw in, that's fat. If you want to get green, my favorite is lacinato kale. It's so fabulous. It's so deep green. Dandelion greens is fabulous for women. Great cleanser of the liver, builds bone density, cleans the urethra. You can do carrot, apple, dandelion green, any array of them. Play with them, pick the ones you like by taste. Put ginger in them. If your blood pressure isn't low, you could put a clove of garlic in the juice, which is delicious, makes it fun, but it does lower blood pressure. So make sure you're not lowering blood pressure. If you want the juice, like if you have to make it early at work and you're doing the intermittent fasting, you have to make it, then you don't want to drink it right away. After you're done juicing, squeeze in half a lemon, put it in an airtight container. Lemon is a natural preservative. The juice will last 6 to 8 hours.
That's an amazing tip.
Yeah,
And I'm very embarrassed. I have been calling it Licinto kale.
Lacinato.
Lacinato. Okay.
We know.
Good to know. Quick tips for improving digestion.
All right, water. People love to gulp water. Water is the most overrated thing in health. Once you start eating really well, water starts losing its place. When you're a cesspool, eating a lot of meat, bread, starch, dairy, then all that nonsense, 8 glasses of water a day is relevant because you're clogged. But when you step into our life, what we're doing is you're aiding digestion. Don't drink water after meals. Don't do anything after meals. Just do life. You put water in, you wash away digestive juices. Move around. Don't lay down after eating. It's better to eat at 9 p.m. and stay awake till 2 a.m. than to eat at 6 p.m. and lie down. Don't go horizontal after food because it sticks in your stomach. That's a biggie.
It's true.
And everything we're talking about, there's a great product from a friend of mine, Mary Beamer, owns the company, Mary Roots Vitamins.
Oh.
She sells a product called Ultra Enzymes. It's a fabulous product. Take 2 or 3 of them after a meal. That's complicated, and it'll keep you from getting gassy and tired. But otherwise, the entire discussion is the fixing of digestion.
That's interesting. What about activated charcoal? Also,
I like charcoal, but I don't like it therapeutically like a lot of people. You take charcoal, to me, when something's off.
Sure.
Like if you eat something and you're like, it might be rancid oil or nuts and seeds that have been exposed to the sun, and you just get a sense, you get a little queasy.
Yeah.
You take 3 charcoal immediately, but just with a sip of water, not a huge glass, or it fucks everything up.
How is that different than the enzymes? I'm just.
Well, the enzymes break down food in the stomach.
Okay.
The enzymes you take if you know you're prone to gas or if you know you have digestive issues, take 3 or 4 of the enzymes right after a meal. It'll help you. The charcoal is taken when you have an overt symptom in the moment where you think you ate something skanky and you're going to get sick. 3 charcoals immediately. But with either case, with the enzymes, do not take them with water. Just take them with the last mouthful of food at the end of the meal. Water is the enemy to digestion. All right, when you're taking the charcoal, just sip the least amount of water to get 3 of them down. But I only use charcoal for that. The other way you can use it, suppose it's a dinner, you cheat, you break combination, you do, a salad and pizza, which is how you cheat, as we said. You do a salad, cook broccoli, pizza. If you're still awake 3 or 4 hours later, take some charcoal before you go to bed. It'll neutralize a lot of that acid.
Yeah, and the bentonite clay.
Liquid bentonite does the same.
Going,
exact same thing.
Yep. Kind of person with IBS eat a raw diet?
Not at the beginning. It depends on the degree. For IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's Crohn's.
For these things, the raw diet, again, is like asking the 500-pound man to run a mile. It's too much for the individual. So what we do with that question is try a nice, easy juice like carrot celery. If it doesn't bother you, use it. When you do your salads, blend them. Get a NutriBullet, which is a genius device.
Yeah.
You throw in on a NutriBullet a half a cucumber cut into chips, blend it into a froth, no added water. Once it's blended into a froth, take a stick of celery, break it up, add that to the blend, keep adding on half a bell pepper, 2 leaves of romaine lettuce. It's a blended salad. It is not to be drunk. It is to be eaten. I'm a big fan of chewing.
Yeah.
So chew the blended salad a lot. If it works and it doesn't bloat or give you violent pains, you can do it. And then you just use the blended salad wherever I said regular salad. Everything else stays the same. Keep the greens out of the juice if you have issues. They're a little rough, and do it. But let's say you can't do it. Let's say the juice puts you on your back. The blended salad destroys you. Then for a couple of weeks, you're going to live on cooked veggies and the easiest grains. So you're going to do a lot of cooked beets, a lot of cooked parsnips, a lot of squashes, broccoli, green beans, asparagus, cooked cabbage, the array of cooked veggies, millet, quinoa, buckwheat. Those are your only grains. And you basically live yams, potatoes, purple potatoes, that whole scene, squashes. That's your meals. Base them on those. Mix the non-starchless vegetables with either the heavy veggies or the grains. 2 times a day. Baked fruit for breakfast. Because the raw fruit will kill a person with advanced Crohn. This is for people who can't do
with
the
no
raw.
oil on them.
No, what you do is it's an Italian thing. You cut out the core, chop them into halves or quarters, pears and apples. It's called fruit compote. You throw in a couple of raisins or chopped dates, a couple of half a teaspoon of maple syrup over them.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah, this is morning
so
food.
shocking to me.
Water in a Pyrex. You do it in a Pyrex. Bake them at 350 for like 45 minutes till a knife penetrates. Arnold Ehret in the Great Mucusless Diet talks, when your digestive system is ruined, you put training wheels on your bicycle. Fruit's too aggressive. It'll hurt people like that. Cooked fruit will not. We've put training wheels. It's slower. It's still efficacious. It's delish, too. You can have it either chilled or right out of the oven warm. Test it. You can make it ahead of time. Fabulous food.
Oh, that's so interesting.
For anybody's parents who are over 70, if you have grandparents whose health sucked, this is their breakfast. Not raw fruit to someone too fucked up. But before I did this, if I thought I had IBS, I would test the raw fruit. If it bothers the shit out of you, do this.
Yeah.
Now, what's the go-between raw fruit and this? Is very ripe bananas. They're the easiest raw fruit because they don't have water. They don't really cleanse a lot.
Like brown.
So brown dotted, really ripe. You can try a breakfast of bananas. Chew the shit out of them. You see people eat a banana in 12 seconds. It's no good. Chew it. It needs to take time. All food needs to be salivated. Okay? But that's how I would handle somebody with those symptoms. Wow. Try the raw. If it ravages you, cook fruit for breakfast, cook vegetables, potato or yam for lunch, cook vegetables, grain for dinner, you go. And then eventually, 2 weeks into doing that, you should get a colonic. Once the therapist pulls out 6 or 7 pounds of waste, you try the raw, you'll see you can do it, you're on your way.
I love that.
Done it many times.
I love that advice. Also, really quick fun fact, when you chew your juices or smoothies, the saliva also creates that effect in the brain, the satiating effect in the brain as well.
100%.
And that creates fullness and satisfaction and
Correct.
all those
Nothing
things.
should be gulped straight down other than water.
Yeah.
Everything else needs to be, juices have to be salivated.
Yeah.
You drink vegetable juices like a wine taster. You do not do this.
Yeah.
Or it'll bloat you because it needs the saliva to break it down. Very important.
Totally.
Will teen acne clear on a raw diet, or is it hormonal, seems to help but not completely?
I believe if a kid is raised properly, they don't get pimples. I don't buy all the hormone thing. Because one thing nature doesn't do is get things out of whack. It's a really interesting philosophical perspective. So when they give you this story that you got acne from hormones, that's nonsense. You have acne because your body's clogged. What happens by the age of 13, now your boat, your Titanic, is starting to collect. It needs to push some things through so it comes through your skin. Do the life, the skin clears. If the bowels keep up. If you do a radical cleansing diet, the bowels don't keep up, you'll look like a pizza because the body will push the poison through the skin. You must dump the bowel.
And if you're listening to this, you're a Patreon member and you'll get my meal plans, my weekly meal plans with groceries. So you can find that food can be fun and you'll get good recipes. So
that's true. I don't eat anything I don't love.
That's important.
There's nothing I take in where I gotta go, oh God.
No, nobody should. So basically, if your kid will love my meals. I guarantee it.
It's once you adapt yourself and you cleanse, you're gonna realize you have a lot of fun. I have friends that are real foodies that eat clean as hell.
Totally.
Yeah, you have to
like
adapt and alter and get yourself to that side of the fence.
Yeah.
And once you do, you'll see your fab.
100%. How often should people poop?
It should be for each time you eat. Doesn't mean right there, but when you take a look at how often you eat, you should go once for each meal, a full-on bowel movement. I'm going to say this right now, though, with all this. You can talk yourself in and out of everything you want. If you're going to take on this diet to a high degree, in a city like New York or Chicago or Miami, where we have so many pollutants and stress, hard work schedules, if you think you're going to succeed and thrive and max it without colonics, good luck. You're probably not. Now, it may take a year or so, but if you're looking to find ways to avoid getting treatments, it's not going to happen. If you have ailments or a sluggish digestive system and you take on this diet, I guarantee it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just what Al Gore called the inconvenient truth. I wish there was something else I could sell. It'd be a lot easier than sitting there 8 hours a day. Haven't found it. Neither has anyone else.
You're selling enough.
It's that simple.
You're busy enough,
You know?
too. Yeah. You answered this. What do you eat in a day?
I only eat once. My key elements, I'm misunderstood by a lot of people, think all I eat is like a leaf and an avocado. Not true. What makes my diet work is I air fast all day. I do a boatload of juice. I only eat once. I don't overeat. And I know that when I eat something that's a little bit on the border for me, like say there's a place around here that does this fabulous thin crust, dark as hell. It's a 9-grain crust. It's crunchy. There's no starch. They just put a vegan pesto, and a ton of veggies called Grubo around the corner. It's fabulous. Now, when I do something like that, I know the next day I'm just doing apples. So I know how to bob and weave.
Yeah.
Like my kids are Thai. They're fabulous chefs. If they cook me up a coconut curry veggie over jasmine with a salad, fine. Don't overeat. Next day, I'm just doing pears. Or I'm just doing coconut water. I know if I push a little, I'm going to pull myself back. But it's not that I won't eat it. I mean, I like whole grain breads. The Tin Building I live in the financial district, has this stone ground Swedish 100% rye bread. You can beat people up with this thing. It's so heavy. It's fabulous. So one of my favorite meals is like the soup you made with 2 slices of that. Yeah. Next day, though, just a bowl of grapes. See, I don't pile on the cooked food or the heavy food, because that's when you lose your edge. Plus, I know how to work with psyllium seed, which is the strong intestinal cleanser. I'll take that after a couple of heavy meals to make sure I keep myself at the level I want. So it's what I call in boxing, they call a bob and a weave.
Yeah.
You know, and you learn all this as you go. Like, what can I do that's not going to harm me, but that I can't do all the time?
Right.
And I know exactly how to play that. I fast probably 4 or 5 days a month. Yeah. And I know what I can get away with. And that's what you want to find. Certain foods are not going to work. Certain cheats are not going to work. Yeah. You end up with the third eye pain, this thing where it hurts your head. You know, you got to let go of that one. Other things you can. As you cleanse, you're going to have to let go of a lot. You'll see.
Yeah, it's emotional, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh, it's 100%.
Tips for somebody with a Candida problem?
Well, that's what we said. The diet is what we said. Candida is yeast. No grains, no beans, no dried fruit. Juice in the morning, salad, avocados, salad, cooked veggies, animal protein. If you have to be vegan, spaghetti squash is allowed. Lots of avocados. If you try sprouted nuts, there are companies that make sprouted soaked nuts. They soak them, sprout them, dry them. East Village Organic sells a great company that makes those. You could do them. Tough to be vegan and get rid of yeast. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because to tell people, be vegan, don't eat grains, don't eat beans, that's no dried fruit, that's hard.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
How to prep for a colonic and what to eat after a colonic.
You just do what we just talked about.
Literally.
Like you're coming off 2 weeks of doing this. Anyone getting a colonic, beginner or otherwise, I always tell them you only eat once after the treatment, if at all. In other words, if you have a 1 o'clock colonic, the move should be leave, do your life, get a juice about 3 o'clock, 1 meal. Even if you do a 10 a.m. colonic, Nobody should put 2 meals in the body in one day after a colonic.
Yeah.
Animal proteins will put you to sleep. They won't get you sick, but if you get a really good cleansing and then put something like fish in you're going to conk right out. Yeah. So I tell a lot of people, go light, salad, cooked beets and a yam, salad, quinoa, asparagus, or just salad, avocado. People really into it, just do 2 pounds of fruit, call it a day. Yeah. But always, before you eat, there's a juice in between. That's vital to give back enzymes. Totally. You never go from colonic table to food.
No, and I think it's important for people to know. I will do the juice. Literally, I ask you every time. I'm like, what juice should I get? I love to know what you have to say. Well, so I get the juice, and then I literally can go to Yoga Sculpt, which is 104 degrees for 60 minutes. And I'm feeling fab, and I have so much energy.
Sure, because cells are
But people don't realize that.
Empty. It's not what you put in, it's having them clean. The best workout you're going to have, once you're into this, at the beginning, people get off the colonic table, they feel the awakened poison that's not out, they get weird. But once you're in, and you get up fabulous, that's when you should do your toughest workout. Leave here or leave your colonic studio, get a quarter, a pint of juice, go right to your workout, watch your power.
You've always said that. That's why I had to say that.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. How to do a parasite cleanse, will a colonic help?
Okay, a parasite cleanse, again, is the diet we just said, and you can add in, there are a bunch of really good herbal compounds. Candex, Candy, there's a ton of them. If you look in a really good health food store, there are all these herbal compositions to attack parasites. Right, just pick a good one, take that, do the diet, get colonics, it'll go.
Okay. How, I selfishly added this one in. How does tamarind fit into food combining?
Tamarind?
Yeah. It's considered a fruit, but people use it.
It's a dense, I'm going to say it works like dates.
People use it like in like pad thai, like some.
I would say it's okay because Norman Walker says, and I've played with this and I think he's right, that really dense carbohydrate fruit like tamarind or
people use dates, like tamarind paste.
You can mix it. I wouldn't mix it with proteins, but you can mix it with like whole grainy, beany based.
Like if I'm having pad thai.
Yeah, also you're cooking.
But I'm vegan.
But it's cooked.
Yes.
So once you cook a fruit, it starts turning to a carbohydrate. So a cooked tamarind is going to be really close to being like a yam. So I don't think it's a problem. Okay. And the way you tell, if you're doing it is a problem, you're going to know. You always listen to the guy. If you get bloated, like, oh shit. Like, the books all say, and I remember trying this and like, no. The books all say that high-fat proteins mix well with citrus fruit. So a whole bunch of the healing books back in the day would say you could have 2 grapefruits and a handful of almonds, 2 grapefruits and a chunk of raw unpasteurized cheese. And I tried that, and that did not fucking work. So you can tell, like, which things can you get away with? Am I okay? Like, one of the things I don't talk about anymore because I think it's wrong, they all used to say don't eat tomatoes at meals with grains because tomatoes are an acid fruit, and acid fruit doesn't mix with grains. Now, you would never eat grapefruit or clementines or oranges with grains because of the sugar. Yeah. But what I found is the tomatoes don't have sugar. There's no problem mixing them with grains. I don't pay attention to that one. Right. But if something kicks me in the nuts, like a couple of grapefruits and a handful of almonds, I'm not doing it anymore. And that's what it did to me. It ruined me. So you try, you see what works.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's all about self-experimentation.
Yeah. And you'll know. The cleaner you get, the more you'll be able to tell. At the beginning, it may be nebulous, maybe iffy.
That makes sense.
But that's okay. If it's iffy, then keep doing it. It's not bothering you. Yeah. As you keep cleaning, boom. That's what happened with Pure Food and Wine when they were open. All those desserts, they made all these incredible raw food desserts, but they were complex as hell. And a lot of people realized as they stepped in, I can't do these anymore.
Too heavy.
There's too much mixing. Syrups with blended nuts and coconut fat. It was just too much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But at the beginning, they're not clean enough to tell. So do it, and your body will tell you when to stop.
Yeah, the body keeps score.
Yeah, listen.
Thank you for answering these questions.
Oh, it was fab. They were actually good questions.
They're really good questions. Thank you for asking your questions. And if you have any other questions, just come visit Gil or DM me.
This was great. I had a real good time.
This was great. If people want to come visit you here,
you can text I'll give you the number, 917-370-9186. That's my daughter Jenny. She'll get you a booking whether you want a consultation or a treatment. That's all there for the taking. Prep with the work we said before you come. We go from there. It's a beautiful thing. And this was, I enjoyed the hell out of this. If, for people listening, if you accumulate a ton of questions or you want to do another one in a couple of months, I'd be willing to do it. That way we can have questions from people who listen. That would be real fun.
Yeah.
So if anyone's out there and they say, wait a minute, you didn't talk about this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, let you know, and I'll base the entire shtick off all of that. That way we know we're hitting relevant topics.
Oh, totally.
I'm fine doing that.
Gil's down to do it again, so if you have any burning questions.
If they're not, I get it.
They will.
Pain stuff. I totally get it.
Yeah, no, we're down. We're down.